And now we have Professor Ezekiel Agbalagba, who is a professor of nuclear physics, environmental radiation, and Dean of Science, Federal University of Petroleum Resources in Efero, Delta State. He's joining us live from Delta State to speak on the federal government position on electricity subsidy, as well as other issues. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us at this time.
Good evening, presenter. Thank you for having me.
Okay, all right. So the federal government, through the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC, raised the alarm that electricity subsidy will hit 2.4 trillion naira by December 2024, as against the 1.9 trillion naira in November. As an energy expert, what do you make of this?
Well, thank you. Subsidizing any basic commodity would have been a very good issue of government, but my worry is, where is the light they are subsidizing? We have band A, B, C, and look at what band A are paying today. They don't even have the light as it were predicted to be 20 hours out of 24 hours. Those in band B who are in darkness, band C who are in darkness, are they the one they are subsidizing? That's the question we Nigeria are now going to ask. If you said you spend a whopping sum of 2.4 trillion on subsidizing energy, you said you have removed subsidy from band A. Band B and C are not getting this light. So we should ask government this question of who, on what are they subsidizing? Is it the darkness or what? So let us probe into what actually they are subsidizing right now. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So the federal government had repeatedly said that electricity subsidy had been partially removed, with Nigerians moving to band A with multiple tariff plan. What will you now attribute to this present statement to? Is it that perhaps they still need to increase the tariff for more of these bands for us to probably have a reduction in subsidy?
Well, this is the worrisome aspect of the whole issue of around the subsidy. The government is subsidizing the energy sector right now. Band A, they are paying through their nose. They are not getting what they ought to get, and the cost of that removal of subsidy, and the government is still taxing the band A. So you see that at the end of the day, they are paying far above what they ought to pay in the band A sector. Now, in the band B and C, which most of the common Nigerians are, they don't even see the light. I can tell you where I am today. If not for solar, for 8 good years, I don't have electricity. And government will tell you that it's subsidizing. Some of our neighboring towns and cities, some of them 2-4 days they don't have it. So it is worrisome if government is saying that they are subsidizing. We don't know where actually this subsidy or where they are subsidizing. Is it the band A or B, or because A has been removed according to the announcement made by the electricity regulatory body that band A has no subsidy anymore. Band B and C are no longer getting the electricity. So we should look inward to really see where government is spending this subsidy on. I have a secondary school where I'm a PTA chairman under band A. A secondary school paying as high as 7.8 million naira. A secondary school. How can that school survive? If you said you have removed subsidy and in the band A, and people cannot afford it, then it's as good as you are killing them. So government should come out clear to see where this subsidy is and how much percentage are they subsidizing on the electricity the masses are getting. That is when one can actually pinpoint whether there is really subsidy or the whole thing around the subsidy is a scam.
Okay, all right. So moving forward, what would be your advice to the federal government considering electric power supply across the country, and perhaps what could be done to bring this to an end?
Thank you. The first thing government should do now, distributing companies, those of them who are not effective and efficient, their licenses should be revoked. Secondly, the transmitting stations or the generating stations, the megawatts they are generating, they should give actual metering system. Because when you say the government is subsidizing anything, that is where the fraud comes from. We know the story around the petroleum subsidy or the petroleum product subsidy. They will tell you they generate 1,000 megawatts and government pays maybe 20% of that amount. So government should have a clear knowledge of how much megawatts each of the generating stations are generating, while the distribution company should be efficient and effective. Because there are so many around this period, you see government sanctioning some of these distribution company overcharging the users or the end consumers. Now, on the transmitting stations, which is always collapsing, government have to step up, because so many of these collapse of electricity on a weekly or daily basis, we are hearing, is embarrassing to the country. So if they can fix the quantity or the amount of megawatts that they are generating per day in each of these generating stations, the distributor company doing their work under strict supervision of the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Authority, and then the transmitting station are effectively doing their work, then you see that we have some relief and we have a true energy that's being generated in Nigeria and consumed by consumers.
All right, we really thank you so much for sharing with us from the wealth of your knowledge with us at Galaxy TV. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
All right, that's Professor Ezekiel Agbalagba, a professor of nuclear physics, environmental radiation, and Dean of Science, Federal University of Petroleum Resources in Ifrem, Delta State.